been doing at Australia Post and have been lucky enough to work with a great team on. I think the evolution of mental health, psychological safety, well-being within organisations is a massive opportunity for the HSE sector, and it is a very important area to get the right level of expertise involved in. I think we're seeing the move from the yoga and fruit bowl kind of approach to well-being to a much more holistic view of psychological safety, both as a concept within a workplace about creating safe spaces for people to speak up clearly, but then the broader concept of psychosocial risk and tailored approaches to the sorts of risks that might exist in your organisation through to tackling things like job design and manager relationships is really important. I think the work that the Mentally Healthy Workplace Alliance is doing in this space will be really important to see some consistent frameworks applied across organisations, because as we know, it's a very fractured space, and anyone with wellbeing in their title will be bombarded on LinkedIn with just dozens of people wanting to provide solutions in this space. So having a really evidence-based framework and a rigorous approach to who you partner with in this space is really important. I think huge opportunity for health and safety people to get more educated and better involved in that sort of area. I think the other thing I'd say is COVID-19, and I'm in Melbourne and at home this week, going into our second week of lockdown again, has provided just an extraordinary platform for health and safety professionals to be involved in their organisations in a completely different way. I certainly know at Australia Post, the interactions that I've had with lots of people across the business that I may never have come into contact with otherwise has been quite incredible, and it's really enabled me to accelerate those connections throughout the business. So whilst I'm always a little bit reticent to go with the never waste a crisis phrase, because it feels a bit wrong to say that, I think there are components of that is true, particularly when you can really add some value in your organisation because of what's been happening in the last 12 months. And it might give you a platform to do so that you didn't have otherwise. The other thing I would say is technology is rapidly evolving in this space. And I think traditionally health and safety people, and I would put myself in this bucket, are not necessarily known for their innovation and known for being cutting edge when it comes to technology and those sorts of things. But we're doing some really exciting work with Google at Australia Post at the moment around the ability to use machine learning to do things like identify pedestrian and forklift interactions. There's so much happening in lots of other technology spaces that I think getting up to speed and trying to understand that a bit more is also a really big area of opportunity in our profession. I would say influencing and relationship building skills is first, second, third, and daylight to fourth. Gone are the days of compliance-based health and safety professionals going anywhere beyond very junior levels in the health and safety world. You need to be able to relate to people, build trust, build rapport quickly, and understand what is driving your stakeholders, whether they are internal or external stakeholders, to really be successful in these roles. So I think those influencing and relationship building skills are the most important ones that you can cultivate. And I think they are capable of being cultivated. They come more naturally to some people than others, but I think even when it doesn't come naturally, you are capable of improving in that space. And I'd recommend for anyone that struggles with that sort of side of things to get themselves a really good, strong mentor and work on it. Furthering that kind of thought, I think creativity is actually a really important skill for a health and safety person. And I was sort of tossing up creativity or innovation, but I actually think thinking creatively about problems and about things that you might be faced with as a health and safety professional is a really useful skill to have. If we come just to compliance and to rule-based, rule-based approaches to things, it's always going to limit you, I think, in terms of the types of solutions that you might be able to come up with. So fostering that creativity in a helpful way, I think is again something that you can work on, and something that you can improve if you focus on it. And then I think the third one most people would agree with, and I would say that's commerciality. So it's really, really important that any of those great creative solutions that we come up with are capable of actually being applied within the context of whatever business we're operating in. You really do need to understand the business strategy, the P&L of your business, what is driving your operational leaders, whether that is cost control or whether it is growth. On either side, understanding that the commercial imperatives of the organisation you're working with is critical to actually driving any success of your program. So I think commerciality and commercial acumen is a really important skill also. I think I have been willing to take risks through my career, Ramton. So as you know, I've made some jumps in and out of a corporate career, and out of the law into corporate, out of corporate into tour guiding and travel and writing and food blogging and things like that at different times. So I'm willing to take a risk, which is great. But I suppose one thing, I think learning to value your inherent skills a little bit more quickly than I did. I think we value skills that you learn or that you study or that you acquire deliberately a bit higher because they require effort, or you've thought them through as something that you need to address. And I think therefore we put a value on that is above those sorts of skills that come to us quite naturally. So when I think through that, for me, it is things like building rapport and building trust and relationship building that comes to me quite naturally and easily. And I think didn't place enough value on that in the junior sort of stages of my career, and probably that first decade or so. I didn't see that as a differentiator because I just thought everybody did that because I did that, or was able to do that, or it just was something that I did rather than thought clearly about doing. But in actual fact, it's probably those skills that come naturally to you that will set you apart from other people. So I think, yeah, I think I would have liked to have learned that lesson a little bit earlier than I did. I work for a 217-year-old organisation. So there are many parts of Australia Post that are really traditional, but the reality is we about 80% of our business these days operates in a highly, highly competitive market. So we have to be innovative to be able to continue on. We cannot just continue to be a letters delivery business and be sustainable into the future. So there's a number of different things. We have a whole department, a whole business unit that is called Product and Innovation, and they do some incredible things when it comes to tech platforms and online commerce and those sorts of areas. But in the safety world, I think I touched on it before, but the work that our lean team in our deliveries business unit are doing with Google at about 10 of our major sites at the moment, but soon to be rolled out to more, on machine learning around forklift and pedestrian separation is fantastic. And that will enable us to really have some clear data around one of our most critical risks, but a critical risk that doesn't result in very many injuries at Australia Post. But we all know that if it does result, it will be a bad one. So to be able to take out all of the complacency and human nature kind of approach to a busy logistics business that has lots of forklifts running around and lots of people running around at any given time, I think is a fantastic thing to be involved in. And it's really exciting technology that clearly will have other uses down the track once we're starting here, but we can see a whole lot of potential functionality going forward. Whether it's overstacked ULDs that might relate to manual handling or things like that.